It's time for Bloodlines, y'all. Alright, guys, so it is finally time for my Final Destination Bloodlines review. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to do a review of every movie that I put on my most anticipated list, but the ones that I quite enjoy and have some thoughts on, I will do some reviews. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get started on this review. So, we finally get some answers as to why things are the way they are in the films, why things happen. And obviously, it's in the title, Bloodlines, so it's connected by bloodlines. Everyone in every film that went through these having premonitions and then saving their lives and then dying apparently are all connected to people from 50 years ago from a previous incident that I guess the first person ever to have a premonition before a disaster happened. Her name's Iris. She had a vision. She saved a ton of people by telling them, oh my god, this place is gonna collapse, you guys have to get out of here. And so she saved a bunch of lives. And so all the people in the movies that we have seen are related to those people who were saved. And so it's taken death quite some time though to get to all of these people, which is why it's taken 50 years to get to the family that we currently see in the movie. And I think that was a really cool concept. Did they make it make sense? That's debatable. In terms of how all this started, since it's not a spoiler review, I can't really say. But all I can say is it has to do with a boy and some stupid decision he does on his part. And some more decisions escalate and cascade into what Iris sees in her vision and what causes the disaster. So, yeah, this dumb kid and his stupid antics, I swear to God, I was just watching the movie, I was so this damn kid is responsible for all of this all of these people's deaths and all of these movies and all of these people suffering. And it comes down to this small little thing that he happens to have that causes all of this and continues to cause all of this. And I'm just this is either really silly and ridiculous, or it's the most brilliant thing ever. I'm still on the fence. The basics of this movie are, we have our main character. She's in college, and she's been having these dreams of her grandmother, who she's never met, dying in a tragedy that happened 50 years ago. But the grandmother is alive because the tragedy never occurred. She's just having the same vision that her grandmother Iris had all those years ago. And so she wants to go and find her grandmother and get some answers as to why this is happening. And basically, she finds out from her grandmother that because she had that premonition, she saved a lot of lives, and now death has basically caught up with their family. So they're the last ones on the hit list, basically. So this whole thing started with their family, and now all the Final Destination is going to end with their family. So it's very complicated. But yeah, basically this is where she's told by her grandmother that all of these people have been having all of these bizarre deaths, and it's all people linked to that tragedy that never occurred because of her, and now they're the last ones on death's hit list. Something that I didn't like in this movie that I would like to point out is that they try to make it seem like there's a certain order to things, but then when you look back at the other films, that order doesn't necessarily make sense. Because according to what they're saying, technically a parent is supposed to die before their child dies. And in the other Final Destination movies, we have seen these kids get it, or these, like, the main characters get it, but we never see a parent of theirs die before they die. So it doesn't exactly make sense, this order, at all. And so I was just kind of like kerfuffled, like, you guys are trying to explain certain things in a way that makes sense, but then you're explaining other things in a way that doesn't make sense. So what's going on here? We also finally learn the connection between the character Tony Todd plays in these movies, and we find out his origins. He was also part of the tragedy that that was supposed to occur 50 years ago, and he's also apparently on death's hit list. He's just been able to avoid it because of something they explain in the movie that actually makes sense, so I wasn't too bothered by it. But yeah, basically the grandmother being able to stay alive kept him from being killed because of the order in which they die, so that was cool. We finally know why he knows so much, and he does know the main character's grandma. They're very close. And so that was really cool how they connected that. But the thing about his character that doesn't make sense, he should have been dead before the main character and her siblings and her mom got there. Since in the order in which the people die, Iris has been dead for a little while. And Iris is supposed to die only a few seconds before he is supposed to die. Tony Todd's character. And so I was like, then he should have died like right after Iris, like right away. These characters shouldn't have had enough time to come and see him and talk to him. He should have been already dead. So it's like, God, like, death takes his sweet ass time. Either that's what's going on, or I don't know. Maybe I'm too picky. I don't remember if this is stated in the other movies. I haven't watched them in a while, but apparently killing someone or killing yourself and being brought back breaks the cycle. Which I'm kind of like, is kind of shitty, because one, if you kill someone else and get the time that they have left, how do you know they're not meant to die like 2 days after you take their life? Like, that's just stupid. And then it's like, being brought back can break the cycle, but that makes no sense because certain characters apparently are not supposed to exist. In the tragedy that was supposed to occur, everyone was supposed to die, and so these main characters weren't supposed to be born. So, being brought back from the dead, like killing yourself and being brought back from the dead, can't undo the fact that you were never supposed to exist. That makes no sense. Death should still be taking them anyway, even after that. So that doesn't make sense either. There's these explanations that they're trying to make sense, but they don't. And it's like frustrating. I thought that they would finally explain the premonitions that people have been getting throughout all of these movies, because that never made sense to me. If death has a plan, and people are meant to die the way they're meant to, why do these people have premonitions in the first place? That would suggest that a divine being is trying to warn them because they're not meant to die. So I'm just like, they didn't explain, like, the premonitions at all. They just, I really thought they might explain that, because it still doesn't make sense to me. If you're having a vision of something bad that's going to happen, it's because you're supposed to prevent it. Otherwise, what's the point of having a vision if you know what's going to happen and you don't do anything about it? I'm kind of like, this is so ridiculous. My overall review, to sum it up, is this. This movie was better than the last few, to be sure. It was definitely entertaining. But it didn't fix everything that didn't make sense from the others, which I really wanted them to do. I really wanted them to fix the things in the franchise that didn't make sense and make it make sense. And some things they did. Some things they tried and failed. And others they didn't even touch upon. So it was a bit disappointing, to say the least. I was expecting a bit more from it. But if you're going into it for something to watch and see some cool, gruesome deaths, then you're going to enjoy it. But not if you're looking for something that makes sense. Or, like, that really fixes the franchise and brings everything together perfectly. Because it's not perfect. But yeah. That's my review, I guess. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you guys for watching my review. Let me know if you guys even like this franchise. I think it's a fun watch, but it's not something I'm obsessed with. But yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, and see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.